gymnast in the Olympics. Rio.
Are you doing this or what?
Yes.
Rio Olympic Games.
Yes! Alright, what's up, Fit Fam? YouTube family, fitness friends, Insta fam, some of you. So I'm coming to you from my closet. Yes, I know that's weird. Anyone else hang out in their closet? Because I totally do sometimes. And I have a chair. And it's a glider, like a rocking chair. It's pretty awesome. And it stays in here. I didn't just move it in here for this. So, yeah, there's no room for it elsewhere. So, as we were leading up to this Olympics, I started thinking a lot about what it takes to be a champion, what it takes to end up at the Olympics. And there's so much. And they're all from different, fields, different sports. They have their own things going, and there's, differences in what it takes to actually get there. But there's this common thread in all of the Olympians and all of our professional athletes and champion athletes that sets them apart from everyone else. And that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit today. I'm a pretty competitive person, and I like to think that I'm constantly trying to better myself. I learn from my mistakes. I think about what I could do differently, what I could do better, and I use that to fuel my next workout, to treat the next day differently if I need to do something differently, and just make myself better than I was the day before. And although I've never been to the Olympics, I don't consider myself a champion, right? There's a lot that I can learn from them and take with me on my fitness journey. So, what does it take to be an Olympian? What does it take to be a champion? So, here's my list of what sets the Olympians, these professional athletes, these champions apart from the rest of us. Number one, they know when and how to push themselves. They know when to push their boundaries, and that also includes them knowing when they shouldn't and when they need to hold back and when it's going to push them, too far to the brink of disaster or some sort of mental instability or cause some physical injury, right? Because those things can be totally detrimental to their careers and to, their physical sport that they do. Number two is their optimism. Optimism is linked to success. You've got to believe that you're the best. You've got to be optimistic that you are going to win, that you are one of those top competitors. You've got to see it and visualize it. And they do, and they keep this optimism with them, and it's one of the things that allows them to do better. The third thing would be motivation. So this is a quote. I'm actually going to just read it. It is by a sports psychologist, Antonis Hadjigeorgiadis. Yeah, I butchered that. So, they said, the mind guides action. If we succeed in regulating our thoughts, then this will help our behavior. So, motivation, you've got to have some intrinsic motivation. Your mind, right, is almost more important than your body and your physical ability. Since I'm in bodybuilding, I lift weights, my diet and my training is super important. Who better than to bring up than the Arnold? He actually said it is the mind that really creates the body. When you go into the gym, if you are not intrinsically motivated, to push yourself and do well and to progress, you're not really going to get anywhere. You can continue to go to the gym, but, beasting your workout and challenging yourself to new things and pushing yourself beyond those limits, and you've got to be motivated to do that. And it can't be motivation from someone else or from somewhere else. That could help temporarily, right? You have some reward, you're trying to impress somebody, but that is not going to last, right? It's got to come from within. And so this is something, that's just another thing that I think that our champions all have. Another one is you've got to have a healthy perfectionism. All right. You cannot tell me that Venus and Serena Williams are not perfectionists. You cannot tell me that Michael Phelps is not a perfectionist. You cannot tell me that Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a perfectionist. But there's a difference. There are two types, I think, of perfectionism, right? There's your healthy perfectionism, and there's obviously an unhealthy perfectionism. And someone who has healthy perfectionism, who is a healthy perfectionist, has really high standards, but they can also be flexible. That kind of goes with the knowing when to push yourself and when not to, right? They have really high standards for themselves, but they know when they've given it their absolute best, they can be okay with that, at least for the time being, right? Until they get back to the grind and are working it out and setting, a different goal, a higher goal for themselves. And then there's the unhealthy perfectionism, the one where 99% is never enough. If they did not win, they're beating themselves up, right? They tend to be more likely to have depression, eating disorders, some sort of mental illness of some sort. There have been studies that showed that all types of perfectionists actually do better than those who are not. However, the ones with the healthy view, right, healthy perfectionist, outperform those with the unhealthy kind. I also just wanted to bring up the amount of time and effort you put into something, right? Don't expect to become an expert, to be the best in your field, unless you're spending a lot of time working at it, a lot of time training. I am a fan of Malcolm Gladwell. He's an author, and one of the books that he wrote is called Outliers. And in Outliers, he talks about the 10,000 hour rule, and he brings up the Beatles as an example. Because basically what the 10,000 hours rule is that it takes about 10,000 hours to really develop that skill set that makes you an expert. And he talked about how the Beatles would play in these little bitty clubs for 8 hours at a time, and they would do this, every weekend or every night for years before they hit it big. And that by the time they did, they'd been playing together for about 10,000 hours, right? And so I did an estimate of how many hours I've probably spent doing bodybuilding stuff. So I've been lifting for about 3 years. I've only been truly serious about it for the last year and a half-ish. And so, of course, this is an estimate, but I came up with I've probably spent about 2,500 hours lifting weights and devoting myself to fitness. That is nowhere near 10,000 hours. Basically, I'm like 1/4 of the way there. But if I continue doing what I'm doing and I train for 10,000 hours, I would consider myself an expert at that point. If I continue going at the pace that I am and learning everything that I can along the way. And you know that these athletes, these Olympians, these champions, they put so much time. They are eating, breathing, and sleeping their sport and their training. And so if you want to get great, if you want to be great, you've got to put in the time, you've got to put in the work. There's really not much else to it. I take that back. There's a lot more to it. All those other things that I talked about also. So I wanted to kind of conclude this talk with another quote by who most people consider, and I consider, the best basketball player of all time, Mr. Jordan. He said, "I've missed more than 900 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." You don't usually go straight to the top. You fail, you learn from it, you get better, you improve, and you just keep grinding it out. And that's what I plan to do, and I hope that I've motivated you to continue on your fitness journey, to start your fitness journey, to do better at your job, whatever it is. I just get so inspired and motivated, and I want to spread that. Double bite. probably just finished watching my glute workout that I did last night. I hope that you enjoyed it. I wanted to say a few things about that workout since I didn't do a commentary and there's only so much I can put on the screen in the video. The first thing that I wanted to talk about were the sumo deadlifts that I did, which was my compound movement at the beginning of the workout. That was actually the first time that I've done sumo deadlifts. And as per usual, I did lots of research. I watched several YouTube videos. I wanted my form to be on point. I definitely don't want to get hurt. And I lost my train of thought. Awesome. That's just awesome. Okay, I was talking about the deadlifts and the videos that I watched. If you've never done deadlifts before, whether the traditional deadlifts or the sumo deadlifts, I recommend that you watch Omar's videos that he made. I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I really don't want to do it wrong, but I'm going to link his video. And his one on sumo deadlifts was really helpful to me. He goes over, the main points of what you want to make sure you do on your form. He explains also why sumo deadlifts are really great for your glutes, which is why I chose to do them. I want to start incorporating them into my glute workouts as I'm trying to really build up my butt. So they target your glutes way more than, your traditional deadlifts and your stiff-legged or Romanian deadlifts. And he shows himself doing them from basically every angle, which was really helpful for me. So in the footage that you just saw, I was doing a set of 8 sumo deadlifts at 155 pounds. I worked my way up to that weight. I did not start at that weight. I was not sure how much weight I was going to be able to do since it was the first time that I had done them. I started, I believe, with 95 pounds and slowly worked my way up to 155, in which I did 3 sets of 8. I think that I could have done more. I'm not sure how much more. I'll be working on increasing the weight in the next couple of weeks to kind of see where I can get to. But since I'm new to this, I wanted to concentrate on my form and really squeezing my glutes and the whole mind-muscle connection thing. So the following exercises that I did were my 2 supersets. The first superset was the hyperextensions, the regular hyperextensions with the barbell on my back, and then the reverse hyperextensions on the balance ball. My second superset was the Smith machine squats, where my feet were wider than usual, and you actually put your feet a little bit farther forward than normal so you can sit back and you can go really low, like to the ground low. How low can you go? How low can you go?
But how low can you go? Lower than your mama's ever seen it in a lifetime.
Okay, sorry. And that was supersetted with the squats on the Bosu ball, which I have pretty decent balance since I was a dancer and a ballerina, and I've just always had pretty good balance, but I thought that was hard. Make sure you hold on to something as you get on the Bosu ball, and you're really gonna hit your stabilization muscles as you squat. I did sets of 12, and yeah, all 12 were hard, just super hard. So it was a great glute workout. I highly recommend it. There was a lot of volume, even though there were not that many exercises. And also, you run back and forth across the gym. Well, I did for one of the supersets, but so your heart rate is up, and they're all really great glute exercises.